Nature's Garden really is a volunteer-based organization. It's based on membership and volunteers. And being close to a university, it's advantageous to create a system that allows students to maybe to complete internships, you know. And so I'm really needing to have someone who would really engage this whole area with a lot of enthusiasm to organize it and to coordinate it and to help me manage it. Yeah, I have a committee called Membership and Volunteers, or Volunteer and Membership Committee.
So we did the Nature's Garden, and we helped out, in the kitchen with food, or set up and clean up. What are some other ways that you guys use volunteers at Nature's
Well, we
Garden?
have a organic garden, and that requires quite a bit of attention, and so we could utilize a regular influx of students that were interested in getting involved with that. And again, their schedules would have to be coordinated with someone that would be here to receive them. So those are the kinds of scheduling issues that would have to be addressed. We have opportunities for design work, let's say people who maybe are in building construction or architectural design. We have a vision of creating quite a few facilities here that would include not only tiny homes, but like big homes, 2, 3, 4 bedroom homes. We want to design a multi-purpose facility that would have a commercial kitchen that could be utilized for meetings, for classrooms, and probably $1 million facility.
Okay.
So we have the grounds, ground maintenance, ground upkeep. That's an ongoing thing. We have the organic garden. We have the pond. We have our annual festival, where I use a lot of volunteers to get involved in. Some volunteers, want to have a platform to do their music or their poetry. We, get people involved in that. And as you mentioned, there's vending, there's setup, there's cleanup, there's even a planning committee that I'd love to have students involved. And then the marketing, my goal is to have 1,000 students to attend the festival. It doesn't all have to be at one time, because it's a full day. So, but a total of 1,000 students that would come. And in order to do that, I'll need a lot of volunteers to promote and market the events that we have here.
So we heard about the volunteers through, the Sister Circle, but what are other ways that currently, without having a coordinator, how are you currently recruiting?
Yeah, a lot of it is by word of mouth. I do maintain like a email list, and so I'll send out emails, but I know that I need to do more, which is why I'm recruiting to have someone that will chair that committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how often do you send out your emails?
Random. Random, and again, that's a role for a coordinator that would have a plan, And I would also think that it would be important to do an annual volunteer appreciation recognition and give out awards and things like that.
Okay.
So it's like I know what needs to be done, but of course, I'm only one person.
Do you recruit certain types of volunteers? And even with that, I'd like to know, what would you look for in your program coordinator or your volunteer coordinator? What kind of qualities?
Well, first of all, I'd want somebody who understands the importance of having volunteers. So that would be number one. Number two, somebody that has the ability to organize and with me, organize a system that tailors the needs of Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. Certainly a person who is pleasant and friendly and welcoming, and has maybe an orientation of assisting people to understand the value of being a volunteer, because like, I think there's a big national organization, Volunteers of America, and I think people don't realize how you can actually, in a structured volunteer program, you can actually use that as job experience, and you can put it on your resume, you know. So those are the type of things, keeping track of hours, especially if you have volunteers. Sometimes you have different classifications of volunteers. You have some volunteers, we get a lot of volunteers that are pledging. And when they get their little hours, you don't see them anymore. And I became aware of that tendency, and so I began to address that. But if that's, and if I know that, but I've had students to approach me sometimes, like very, very positively and very eager, and like I said, once they fulfill their requirement for pledging, I don't see them anymore. And so now, if I know that in advance, it's fine. Like there's some people that just need 25 hours of volunteer work, or you have students that are in the orientation class or something like that, and they're required. But I'm also looking for volunteers that are really interested in learning new skills, or they themselves want to have a platform where they can actually practice their skills. As a frog. It's a bullfrog, and it's in the water over there.
I thought it was a cow.
I know. My daughter, that's so funny, because she thought it was a donkey. And I laughed so hard at that. I said, how could you think it was a donkey? She said she thought it was coming from across the street. Isn't that funny? Yeah. So, one of the things we're wanting to do at Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace is to promote victory and peace. I want this place to be a very welcoming environment. I want people to come and leave feeling like renewed or uplifted. And so the people who work here as volunteer coordinators, they need to also kind of promote that or exude that, in the way that they welcome people, the way that they would work with people. So those are some of the qualities, I think, that would be needed.
Right. And you mentioned having some type of volunteer showcase to recognize your volunteers.
Yes.
How do you envision that?
Well, we'd have to decide the time of the year, and I think that sometimes it would definitely need to be outdoors, and I would imagine presenting categories to outstanding people. I mean, maybe everybody would get like a simple certificate or something, and then maybe something nicer. I haven't figured out what that would be for people that were really outstanding, and then we would maybe do a barbecue or something like that, some cookout, and have music after we do the formal, maybe some music and getting together, for maybe an hour, and then we present the awards and create some cultural presentations with that. Present the awards and then have some food. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to do that annually as a way of acknowledging and appreciating the volunteers. And that's why it'll be important to keep logs of attendance and the hours, not only the dates that they come, but the hours that they spend and the levels of consistency.
What do you think is necessary to keep your volunteers active?
Yeah, there does need to be incentives. Probably occasional email communications, or maybe a GroupMe kind of platform, a presence on our webpage. Maybe like when volunteers come, we should be taking pictures. Maybe we should be interviewing a couple of people here or there and putting that on the website, put it on Facebook. I know Instagram is another way to do that. So I think that that's one way, is to document. Other incentives I would be open to, maybe volunteers that are consistent, they would get a T-shirt. I'm looking to have a nice T-shirt designed, and a T-shirt that people would really want to wear. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be open to hearing other incentives too. Maybe you have some ideas in addition to um, the few things that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The annual appreciation, social media presence, and the annual appreciation gathering, awards ceremony, and the T-shirts.
I think, in my experience, one of my favorite times I was a volunteer when I was in Illinois. I was a one-on-one mentor. And I think, you know, just being committed to the mission and the objective of the organization. For me, you know, having this meeting with a student actually worked to secure her a scholarship after a number of years, and just knowing that she needed that outlet of a mentor. So really being committed to that, and just coming one day, I think they had some little goldfish in a bag, and it had this little cute saying on it that matched the fish. You know, very small tokens of appreciation, just to know that you're recognized.